Rain struck the red-tiled roof so loudly that Jack almost missed the pounding at the front gate. 3 hard knocks. Then silence. Jack lifted the lantern from the veranda and crossed the wet stone path. Water was already gathering beneath the rough wooden fence. He opened the small viewing panel in the gate. An elderly woman stood outside. Her gray hair was pressed against her face. Her clothes were soaked, and both hands were gripping the handle of an old brown suitcase. Jack recognized her. His expression changed immediately. "What are you doing here?" The woman looked past him toward the light inside the house. "My roof collapsed," she said. "The road into town is blocked. I called my relatives, but no one answered." Jack did not open the gate. "I only need somewhere dry until morning," she added. The front door opened behind him. Tu Tien stepped onto the veranda carrying a cup of tea. She could not yet see the woman's face, but she saw the suitcase. The cup slipped from her hand and shattered against the stone. Years earlier, that same suitcase had been filled with Tu Tien's clothes and placed outside another house. Her former husband and his mother had closed the door while she stood alone in the rain. Now the woman who had helped send her away was standing at Jack's gate, holding it again. Jack turned toward Tu Tien. He kept one hand on the locked gate. "This is your home," he said. "You decide." Tu Tien walked slowly down the path. She stopped beside him and looked directly at the woman. "Why did you bring that suitcase?" The woman lowered her eyes. "I never threw it away. That is not what I asked." The woman struggled to answer. "Every time I looked at it, I remembered that night." "Did you come here to apologize?" "No." The answer surprised Jack. The woman tightened her hands around the handle. "Tonight I came because I have nowhere else to go. I will not pretend it was for a better reason." Tu Tien looked beyond her. Muddy water was moving across part of the mountain road. She lifted the wooden latch. "You may stay until the road is safe." Jack opened the gate. "But one night under my roof does not erase what happened." "I understand." Jack carried the suitcase into the yard. He prepared the small room beside the veranda rather than taking the woman into the main house. He gave her a dry blanket, warm water, and one of Mother Loy's plain jackets. He made sure she was safe from the storm. He did not call her family. When Mother Loy returned with Uncle Dung, she noticed the unfamiliar shoes beside the door. Then she saw the woman sitting in the small room. Mother Loy stopped. She looked first at Tu Tien. "Did you ask her to stay?" "I allowed her to stay until morning." "Is that what you want?" Tu Tien looked toward the rain. "I do not want an elderly woman sleeping beside a blocked road." Mother Loy studied her face. "That is not the same answer." "No," Tu Tien said. "It is not." Mother Loy nodded and placed another bowl on the dinner table. No one called the woman a guest. No one called her mother. They simply gave her food. The meal was quiet. The former mother-in-law looked around the room. She saw photographs of Jack and Tu Tien working together. She saw Mother Loy seated between them in a family picture. Tu Tien's notebooks rested beside Jack's tools. Near the front door, a small wooden plaque carried 2 names, Jack and Tu Tien. "You built this house together?" the woman asked. "Yes," Jack answered. She looked at Tu Tien. "I did not know." Tu Tien put down her chopsticks. "You never tried to know me." The woman lowered her gaze. After a long silence, she said, "I once believed any man who chose you would inherit only hardship." Jack looked at Tu Tien before answering. "She built this life with me." The woman did not respond. Tu Tien stood and walked onto the veranda. Jack waited before following her. She was watching the rain fall into the lotus pond. "You did not have to let her inside," he said. "I know." "Do you regret it?" "No." Tu Tien folded her arms against the cold, but part of me wanted her to see this house. I wanted her to know that I survived after they threw me away. "You did more than survive. That is not enough." She looked back through the doorway. "I do not want her suffering to make me forget what she did, and I do not want my kindness to give her control over me again." Jack nodded. "When the road opens, she leaves. Anything after that will be your decision. You are not going to tell me to forgive her? No. Why? She hurt you. I do not get to decide when that pain should end. Near midnight, Jack heard the front door opening. He stepped into the hallway and saw the former mother-in-law carrying the suitcase toward the gate. Mother Loy's jacket had been folded neatly on a chair. Jack moved in front of the door. Where are you going? I should not have come. The road is still blocked. I can wait at the old market shelter. You cannot reach it safely tonight. The woman looked toward Tu Tien's closed bedroom door. She has already done more than I deserve. Do not wake her. Jack did not move. You made decisions for her once, he said. You will not do it again in her own home. The woman's hand tightened around the suitcase. When she pulled it toward herself, one of the old metal clasps broke. The suitcase fell open. A faded blouse slid onto the floor. Then a small photograph. Then a notebook covered in blue cloth. Jack recognized Tu Tien's handwriting on the first exposed page. The bedroom door opened. Tu Tien stood in the hallway. Her eyes moved from Jack to the open suitcase. Then she saw the blue notebook. She walked forward and picked it up with both hands. I thought these were destroyed. The woman looked down. I tried to destroy them. Why didn't you? Because every time I opened the suitcase, I remembered you standing outside our door. Tu Tien turned over the photograph. It showed her years earlier, standing beside the house she had once believed would be her permanent home. The woman sat down slowly beside the suitcase. I blamed you for something that was never your fault, she said. Tu Tien did not answer. I used the subject of children to make you responsible for every unhappiness in that house. You did more than blame me. I know. You made me believe I had no value. The woman nodded. I cannot undo that. Tu Tien held the notebook against her chest. Understanding it now does not return the years you took from me. No. And bringing back my belongings does not buy forgiveness. I did not bring them to buy anything. And why? The woman looked at the broken suitcase. Because they were yours. I had no right to keep them. Tu Tien picked up the photograph and placed it inside the notebook. She left the faded blouse and the remaining objects where they were. These belong to me, she said. I am taking them back. The woman closed the broken latch as far as it would go. That is why I carried them here. Tu Tien looked toward the door. You will wait until morning. I have already caused enough trouble. That is not your decision. The woman looked at her. Tu Tien's voice remained calm. You left me outside once without asking what it would do to me. Do not disappear tonight and call it kindness. The woman released the suitcase handle. What do you want me to do? Wait. Leave safely when the road opens. She paused. And do not mistake that for forgiveness. The woman nodded. This time she returned to the small room without arguing. By sunrise, the rain had weakened. Uncle Dung confirmed that one lane of the mountain road was open. Jack arranged for a local driver to take the woman to a relative's home beyond the damaged section. He did not offer her money. He did not promise to rebuild her house. Tu Tien did not invite her to return. At the gate, the woman lifted the old suitcase. She faced Tu Tien. I will not ask you to call me mother. Tu Tien remained silent. I lost the right to ask for that a long time ago. The woman placed one hand on the suitcase. You were never the reason our family failed. I was wrong to make you carry that blame. Tu Tien looked at the notebook in her hands. I do not forgive you today. I understand. What happens after today will depend on what you do, not what you say. The woman accepted the answer. Tu Tien handed her a dry raincoat. The road will still be cold. The woman received it with both hands. Then she pushed the suitcase toward Tu Tien. You should keep this too. Tu Tien looked at it. No. The woman seemed confused. My belongings were inside it, Tu Tien said. I took back what was mine. She returned the handle to the woman. The suitcase stays with you. The former mother-in-law's eyes filled with tears, but she did not ask Tu Tien to change her mind. She carried it through the gate. Before entering the waiting vehicle, she turned toward Mother-Law. "Thank you for giving her the family I refused to give her." Mother-Law shook her head. "I did not give Tu Tien this family. She and Jack built it together." The woman bowed her head and entered the vehicle. Tu Tien watched until it disappeared around the mountain road. Then she placed both hands on the wooden gate. Jack stood beside her but did not touch the latch. Years ago, another door had closed and left Tu Tien standing outside with a suitcase. This time, she closed the gate herself. She was standing on the inside. Jack asked quietly, "Are you all right?" Tu Tien looked toward the house. Mother Loy was waiting on the veranda. The names Jack and Tu Tien remained together beside the front door. "Not yet," she said. She held the blue notebook closer. "But I am not outside anymore.